CNN.
Be patient, morons. I'm punching up.
I'm patient.
The screen, not you.
The other morons.
Hold back with that. That's one of the pièces de résistance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
JP, be careful with that.
Yeah.
Please, I know what I'm doing.
You guinea fuck.
Now I'll go to studio. Don't worry. Hold on.
Oh, it's like a whole
second.
production studio.
Calm
Saddle up.
down. It's a live broadcast. Be happy enough I'm doing that for you on a fucking Monday. It is Monday, isn't it? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, be happy on a Monday.
Fun day.
It's like Monday at 10:30. I got real work tomorrow.
That rhymes.
Yeah.
You're good, Jim.
Real work to do tomorrow. Let's see. Waiting for, there it is. All right. We'll allow this. La-da-dee clip. Allow this. La-da-dee clip. There it is. And let's go to chat to see if we're there.
Something about the King of Queens.
Now I go to the chat room and bold everything up.
Ooh.
Audio's out of sync with video. It just went on, dummy.
How is it now?
Relax. All right. Okay. I understand. Oh, see, it's Cumia and Bayshore. People recognize
Wonderful.
my buddy Steve from Bayshore. Let me pop up the web page version so I know what's going on as it's going on. Okay. Then we'll be all right. So calm your asses. Be cool. Let me go to this right here. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll be ready for a special presentation of Live from the Compound with a special guest, Steve from Bayshore.
Oh, how exciting.
Very, very special guest this evening.
Very special.
Steve from Bayshore. Let's see how this pops up. This picture better fucking come up or I'm going to be mad. Yada-dee. There it is.
Oh, look how nice.
There it is. Okay. Well, a couple of ads pop in. Now we'll minimize this because you guys get to see
look back.
part of it. Yes, it's a look back.
Charming.
Now I go back to this view, which is my better, that way I can actually see what we're doing. I'll pop this up so I could see your chat because I don't have phones yet. Sorry. Let's minimize that a little. Oh, that's a little too small. Come on, it takes a little time. Don't give me a break. Cut me some. I just need you to cut me some slack. It's a little fezzy line. Don't mind me. Pop this in front. Put this up here so I can adjust things.
I'll look back.
And yes, welcome to Live at the Compound. It's a look back, 420. Yes, with Steve from Bayshore.
Good evening, everyone.
You know Steve. He's a very good friend of the Opie and Anthony show, the program. And been on many times. Very funny gentleman. I love what he writes in. 75% of which I can read. 25% of which can never be uttered in the light of day.
Right.
Steve, if you'd tell the people, what are we sitting in front of right now? We're broadcasting live from, we're on location here at 420. Where are we?
Well, we're sitting in front of the south facade on Voss Street of the Reich Chancellery.
It is the Reich Chancellery.
It is, designed by Albert Speer.
Albert Speer, of course, we all know Albert Speer.
Quite a talented man. This was one of the first buildings in the New Berlin, which was going to be named Germania after the German victory in World War II.
What happened?
Well, a few people interfered. Some people backed the wrong side.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. But we just thought it would be a festive background, given the date.
Yes, this is indeed. It's an ominous date. Some people say.
Oh, I'd say that.
Very ominous date.
Right.
420 has taken on kind of a life of its own, if I may borrow from Opie. He says a life of its own a lot.
Please borrow.
But a life of its own as far as the date. It is the date of Columbine, which is the 10th anniversary of the shooting at Columbine.
Right.
It is also 420 Day, which in pot smokers, their whole life,
popular.
it's very important.
Yes.
That 420, dude. And I guess they smoke as much pot as they smoke on any other day. I don't really see what 420 means to a pot smoker, because they're just going to smoke as much as they always smoke, which I've seen firsthand, believe me.
Several times.
Yeah, several times. But it is indeed also Adolf Hitler's 120th birthday.
Who?
Adolf Hitler.
Oh, Uncle Adi. Yes,
Uncle
that's true.
Adi, as you call him.
It's his big day. Unser prachtvoll Führer is having a birthday today, and we're just here remembering the horrors of war.
Of course, the
That's
horrors.
all it's about.
The terrors, the horrors of war, that time back when America, I believe, lost their innocence. Ugh, I hate when people say that, don't you?
Very sad.
Don't you hate when people lose their innocence?
You know, once you're 3, you've lost it.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
my opinion.
The only loss of innocence I actually, well, I won't even say it. It had to do with John Benet Ramsey, but I'll just leave that alone. Like Steve looks off to the side, like someone's here to help.
I heard nothing.
Like someone's here to help. No one's going to help.
Does the camera add 90 pounds? Because I'm really looking fucking quite bloated. Jesus Christ.
You look like, you do look like a Russian soldier or
What is
something.
that?
You have like,
Dear Lord.
yeah, the what are those called?
The epaulets.
Epaulets on your shoulders, and yeah, that's good. You actually look like young Fez.
Hey!
It's like young Fez is sitting here with me, but
There are
no,
7
maybe we
swastikas
shouldn't.
on my heart. There's always room
Those
for
on there.
10. What is that? Oh, cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
We don't talk about those.
What we're doing here tonight is a little broadcast, and it has to do with history.
Yes.
The history of the war, Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler, and things to do with 420. I mean, this is kind of a big day as far as the Nazis went. I'm sure they celebrated quite festively on Hitler's birthday. Do you have any idea, Steve, what they did back in those days during the Nazi, the Third Reich?
Well, it was a goose step in good time.
I'm certain, yeah.
April 19th, there would be a broadcast saying tomorrow is the big day.
Oh, they'd remind
They
people
would
just in
remind
case they
people.
forgot.
It was pretty much a national holiday. The biggest celebration occurred in 1939, where all the Wehrmacht assembled, well, not all, in Berlin and marched down the new east-west axis in front of their Führer. And there were many dignitaries from every country there.
From every country.
Every country wishing old Dolph a very happy 50th. And in that building that's behind us,
Yes, this building.
oh, quite a few gifts were brought
Oh, they were.
from everywhere.
From
Oh, yes.
everywhere. Was the United States involved in
The
this?
United States was certainly involved in that.
They brought Adolf Hitler presents
Of course, it
for
was
his birthday.
It was happy birthday, Dolphy.
How insane is that? That the United States actually brought Hitler birthday gifts.
Well, he was a very important and very popular world leader at the time.
Well, he was at the time until he pulled what I like to call shenanigans.
Yes, you could call
You
it
can
that.
call them. You can call them shenanigans because at first they were just shenanigans,
Right.
and then it got a little
a little iffy.
a little iffy
Yes.
as far as the shenanigans part goes.
Some mistakes were made.
Yeah. But what we're here for tonight is Steve from Bayshore is a little collector of items from the era. I like to call it the era. Back in the mid to late 30s, early to mid 40s, not going past 45.
No, after 45, things suddenly turned
Is there
downhill.
a specific month?
I would say as of May.
May of 40.
1st, yes. May 8th was a very bad day. They call it VE Day. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Got a little iffy?
Yeah, got a little iffy. And there were problems. And
Yeah.
And like one whole side of this war had to lay down their arms. I don't understand that it was a war.
Just stopped.
Terrible.
Stopped fighting.
Terrible.
But Steve has acquired some very unique and very interesting memorabilia from the era, from these times, and from, it seems, one side of this conflict.
Well, no, that's only because of the date. I do have some nice American stuff at home.
Oh, okay. So, like, let's say on what day? Memorial Day, perhaps.
Of course.
Veterans Day, perhaps. You could come back for another show and show me equally as interesting and unique items.
My grandfather was in the 101st Airborne. I have some very nice things from him. I have his overcoat. It's like a long smock that he wore during the Battle of the Bulge.
Wow, really?
Winter white, yeah.
He was one that actually had something to wear.
He actually had something to wear.
I know it's hard to lean over, but people are complaining.
I am speaking.
You don't have to get right into it, but yeah, people complain you're a little too low.
Well,
but
I'm on this 33-foot high stool here, and Ant's in a regular chair. So this is a Danny-sized stool. So I'm sitting a bit too high.
There, I raised my chair up so we don't look so silly. And a Danny-sized stool is something he's shown me on an iPhone. It was a picture he took was quite fucking disgusting. It was in the shape of a pretzel.
With his dysfunctional liver, you can understand how these things happen.
Yes, it's very disgusting. But you have brought some stuff, and it is quite fascinating if you're into the era.
To some,
and this day being Adolf Hitler's birthday.
Right.
And I want to assure everybody, this is not a celebration.
Never.
If any of the press wants to pick up on this, or anyone wants to try to get people in trouble by shoving a tape off, this is not a celebration. This is a recognition of a point in history through talk and items of memorabilia from the era.
A bit of reflection.
Lest we forget.
So true.
We cannot forget. We must always remember, or we will be condemned to repeat. That is what they say of history.
If only.
Yes, well,
yes, you know.
That's what they
well, anyway, so with that disclaimer out of the way.
With everything out of the way, let's get on to some of Steve From Bayshore's collection of memorabilia from the era on this 420.
Well, what sort of things would you like to start with? Do you like... well, we have some assortment of buckles and belts. We have...
the belts are very interesting. I would like to start with some of the belt buckles.
Okay.
These are interesting items, and it is amazing how well these items have held up. These are authentic World War II items from Nazi Germany. They have been around since the late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, and are in their exact condition. They haven't been reconditioned. They haven't been replaced with anything. And it is quite amazing how well they've held up. It's just, what do you attribute that to? German engineering?
I think it's just the wonderful, masterful German engineering.
Yes, you got to give them that much.
They were snappy dressers. We know that. They made things to last. They tried to make something last 1,000 years, but it lasted...
How long did that last?
Oh, about 12 years and a couple of months.
12 years.
However, the belts and buckles are around for quite a little while, except for the ground-dug ones that people find in graves.
Yeah, maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he meant the clothing and certain belts, buckles, and memorabilia will be around for 1,000 years.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Now, that right there is an interesting little item. Very, very good shape, the buckle itself. What is that, Steve?
This is a German Army steel belt buckle for an enlisted man. I think our assistant, Newsday Laura,
Newsday Laura,
take this and
take a look at that.
Hold it up to the camera so people
that is very, very interesting. That is in great shape. Yeah, hold the buckle up to that lens there. Look at that. And Steve, what does the insignia say on there?
It says "Gott mit uns," which means God's with us.
God's with us. Well, God backed a losing team, it seemed.
That God is
what happened?
Quite the quipster.
what happened with that God? He.
I don't know. As a point of reference, that did have the eagle and swastika.
Yes, it did.
We also have an Imperial World War I buckle with the same motto.
Wow, now this is from World War I.
Right, with the Imperial Kaiser's helmet on.
Not as fun a war, I would say. Just personally speaking, not as fun, not as popular. It's a case where the sequel was kind of better than the original.
Right, but I like the fact that more cities were left standing at the end of it.
That's true,
That was
because
a little bit
Germany,
better.
a little torn asunder, as they say.
A problem here
If we
and
could show this one. This is from World War I. It's just a little, what is the meaning of the crown in the middle? There's kind of a, it still says the whole...
God with us.
God with us. And again, whoopsie, apparently not.
Well, he didn't abandon them that badly that time. But, that symbolizes the Kaiser. The Kaiser's right.
The Kaiser, who invented the roll.
He was
that
quite...
a lot of people have a ham and
quite the
Swiss with a little mustard on.
Very true.
Boo.
The last one
Yeah.
with the same inscription we have is a German police buckle from about...
They must have been fun guys. Did they have PBA cards they could give out
They
to
certainly
stop a speeding Jew?
They handed them out with bullets.
Is that what happened?
This one doesn't have an eagle or anything like that in it. It just has a swastika in the middle. But as you can see, this one was dug up in East Prussia, which is now part of Russia.
Yeah.
And it might have been found with a body. I'm not quite sure. Somebody gave that to me as a gift. You just smell...
smells like dead Nazi.
Deutscher Schwanz.
It actually, it smells like incense.
Incense?
A little bit, yeah. Boy, maybe the Nazi was wearing a little patchouli.
Sweet smelling. I thought they were so...
That is a little rusted.
Yes.
What do you got, Parkinson's? Can you hold that a little more steady?
You could actually
there you
see
go.
a hole through it.
There's a hole through it, and that is very rusted. Turn that around to the back.
I say it's
so maybe we can see the back. Rustic.
Yeah, it's not rusted.
Yeah, that could perhaps pulled out of a grave, you're saying?
That's quite possible. A lot of things are dug up and sold now by the Eastern Europeans.
Eastern Europeans, right. The old commies,
they don't
who
really,
now
really
are capitalizing
right.
on the Nazis. Boy, the commies really and the Nazis not fans of each other back in the day.
No, they weren't what you'd call buddies, although the Germans and Russians did sign a non-aggression pact in...
That went well.
Oh, that didn't go so well, Anthony.
Now, Hitler broke that pact by invading Russia.
Right, but the interesting thing was that what that pact did was try to prevent the British and French from going to war against Germany if Germany invaded Poland. So what the Nazis
because
did,
they'd be afraid then that the Russians and their might would be a little easier to defeat them than just Germany.
Right. So what the Germans did, it was called the Ribbentrop-Molotov Agreement. They signed an agreement.
Had a cocktail at that one.
It was delicious.
Boo boo. West Pat.
And what happened was the Germans and the Russians agreed to divide up Poland when Germany invaded, and that's what they did.
Oh, really? Is that what the whole pact was about, that they agreed, hey, we'll split up Poland?
Well, what happened was Germany rolled, took half of Poland, Russia came in, got the second half, and took the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia.
Just as kind of a goof.
Not quite, but they actually also invaded, yet they were not seen as an aggressor.
I'm wondering now why they weren't seen as an aggressor, and why then, a two-part question, please. Why then were they not seen as an aggressor, and why did Hitler decide to turn around and invade and become enemies with Russia, knowing their might and knowing that pact kind of helped them along?
Well, the main theory is that Hitler was just buying time. And he also had this idea that at 50, this was pretty much the time he had to start doing things. He didn't think he'd be around much longer.
Midlife crisis, you're saying. It's a world-dominating midlife crisis.
Nutty, pretty much.
Why couldn't he just find a young blonde chick? Oh, he did.
Hey, several.
Young Ava Braun.
Oh, what a cutie she was. She was a photographer's assistant.
Yes.
Worked for Heinrich Hoffmann.
My own Ava Braun right over here, don't I?
Lovely. Look
With
at
her little braids. Looking very Aryan tonight.
Tonight?
So...
Jesus Christ.
So I'm still wondering why Hitler decided, couldn't he have swept up Europe without turning his back on Russia, or actually turning his front on Russia?
That would have been the smart thing to do.
And conquer before trying to open up another front.
What he should have done was,
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Thank God he didn't.
Oh, right. Thank God. Thank God history has proven that this didn't happen, because it would have been catastrophic.
Yeah, that's the word. And what happened was he did not finish off Britain.
Yes, Britain.
And now by this time, the Americans were sending lots of the Lend-Lease program, as you know.
Yes, we were giving them equipment, tanks, and even
arms.
some patriotic young gentlemen were going over there and fighting under the British flag.
That's quite true.
Yes, and Canadians also, I believe. Some Canadians were doing that, although very ineffective, I hear, the Canadians.
They had a certain substance abuse problem that
It was
haven't really spoken about.
just they actually wanted a pot leaf on their flag, and then they had to settle for a maple leaf. That was a second choice.
It was a start. But, yeah, Dolphy decided to roll on Russia, and we know that didn't really turn out so well.
Bad move on his part. Good for the world, but bad on his part, because I believe if he could have kept that front just in Europe,
yes,
and against England especially, I do believe things might have turned out different for the Third Reich.
Well, they didn't really believe that the war against the West was really going to escalate, especially not after Germany defeated France in 1940.
So easily, by the way. Those weeping, weak, baguette-eating fags, which I like to call
Homer has categorized them, cheese-eating surrender monkeys. Homer Simpson.
Cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
That's them.
The French are perhaps the worst warriors on the face of the earth. All right, I'll give Napoleon...
he tried.
I'll give him a pass.
But he was born in Corsica, which is almost an Italian island. So,
hey, paisan.
He was okay.
You know, but since then, the French have been ineffective completely.
No.
In anything. They've depended on the United States and, in some ways, the rest of the world to bail them out of trouble constantly.
Always.
Yet they hate the rest of the world and America especially.
And they really went along with the German occupation.
Did they help them out? But I hear about the French resistance.
What's that?
Nothing.
That's when they pushed back as Hitler was fucking them. 500 years will go by and the French will not have gotten the taste of Hitler's ass out of their mouths. They fucking sucked his ass till it was dry. They were just a horrible country.
Yeah,
All due respect, France.
Yeah, all due. No offense, France. None
Nothing
taken.
against
Right.
you.
No. It was, that was horrible. The French... now, the United States getting into the war,
right,
that must have just fumed Adolf Hitler's behind that the Japs would turn around and do something that would get us into the war when he knew that was the last thing Adolf wanted, probably.
Well, yes and no.
Please tell me, Steve.
Let me elaborate.
Steve, by the way, if you people don't know, is an expert on the era. A lot of memorabilia. He's done a lot of research on this. And I love asking him questions about World War II and things like this, like about Germany and America getting into the war. Now, why would you say that's kind of yes and no?
Well, Hitler had a pact with Japan, saying that if they went to war with the United States, he would declare war on the United States in turn.
More helping Japan out, though, in that case than Germany.
Correct. However, he also expected Japan to start fighting Russia from the other side.
Oh, because it's right to their left over there.
Which they never did.
No, they had their hands kind of full. They had their hands kind of full. I feel we have unleashed a paper tiger, or something like that. No. They actually he was very skeptical as to their chances of victory against the United States of America. Yeah, and
I'm sad.
So he actually thought that the Japanese were going to go against Russia,
exactly,
and help him out on that front,
right? And
he didn't. And it does seem like once America got into the war, that the Germans and Japanese not really keeping tabs and helping each other out as far as the war effort went.
Not so much, but. Once Hitler did invade the Soviet Union in June of 1941, the United States started sending Ford trucks, all sorts of things over. Roosevelt was not allowed to sell anything to any of the warring nations. So somebody came up with the Lend-Lease program.
Lend-Lease?
Lend-Lease.
Now, why weren't we allowed to just give arms and trucks and whatnot?
We were supposed to stay neutral.
America
America
neutral?
was supposed to stay. Can you imagine that?
Nine.
However, most of the trucks that invaded the Soviet Union were built were either GM or Ford trucks.
Yes.
Because Henry
the
Ford...
two bankrupt companies now today.
Right.
In this day and age. And Germany and Japan doing fine.
Yeah.
Skull.
Terrific. Yeah, but that building behind us isn't there anymore.
No, this building is
really all for naught.
Long gone, long gone.
It does look nice, though.
It is a great setting here that we're live. What a beautiful day. The clouds are barely moving.
If you watch long enough, we'll see the changing of the guard. Those little
Yes.
those little goose-stepping kraut legs brings a tear to your eye. But I did bring some other things. We were speaking about that building there. I do have some items from that exact building, which was built in 1938 and torn down about 1947, 50. It was totally gone. The Russians didn't like it.
I would assume it was pretty devastated before they tore it down. That seems to me to be a target that they would really shell the shit out of.
It wasn't in the best of shape. However,
a fixer-upper, as they say.
It was a fixer-upper. It could have been preserved, but I forget the exact phrase that the Russians used. It was something like...
Scumbag, Nazi, kraut, motherfucker?
It was like morally derelict architecture, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
They used some kind of propaganda. Well,
Right.
Stalin was not the biggest man on truth either, I must say.
Joey?
Old Joe Stalin. To me personally, Stalin was worse than Hitler. I believe he had a little more time to kill people, his own people.
He did.
Control people, devastate cultures and art and architecture.
I'll just say
things
he was quite rude.
I would say,
I'll leave it at that.
let's just agree to disagree. They were both pretty bad.
They were both bad
All
people.
right.
Yes.
We'll
Both-
do that then.
They caused problems.
Havoc.
A bit. But from that lovely building behind us... Oh, it's such a wonderful spring day here in Berlin.
I know. It's so warm. I don't know why I even
I think it's 1940, so
it is beautiful.
They've already beaten France, so it's a lovely day here in Berlin.
Yeah.
We have a few items from that building that
From that very building.
people might be interested in. A friend of mine named Henry, who lives in Berlin.
Heinrich?
No, his name is actually Henry.
Heinrich?
Heinrich? Nein.
No, it's Henry. All right.
His name is Henry. Yes.
Henry?
His grandfather was a German soldier who was placed on body removal duty in the Reich Chancellery. If anyone has seen that very sad film, Downfall.
Downfall, yes, I saw that.
It's sad just because you see a city dying. That's what was sad about it.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, you see a devastated city, the architecture, the culture,
And-
all of that.
And puppies were killed
And
as well.
Goldie. Blondie.
Little
Excuse me,
Blondie.
Blondie,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Goldie.
yeah.
Blondie.
That's gold in my ear.
Yeah.
She was okay after that one.
She seemed to come out of that fine.
She did all right.
Yes. Little Blondie wound up eating a cyanide pill in that movie, and it was very sad.
That damn Dr. Stumpfegger, who, as a little aside,
yes.
committed suicide with Martin Bormann by the Lehrter Bahnhof station.
Really?
Yes, he had escaped with Max Axmann, the head of the Hitler Youth. And they made it across to the bridge and were stopped by a Russian patrol.
Oh, boy.
I believe it was May 1st or 2nd, and the Russians were drunk and exuberant, saying, the war is over. So the Germans were like, oh, that's great. Yeah, meanwhile, Martin Bormann was Hitler's private secretary.
Yes, of course, old Marty.
So they made a dash for it, Bormann and Stumpfegger, the SS doctor who poisoned Blondie and gave the medicine for the little Goebbels kids.
For the little tykes, the little cute little Goebbels kids who were all found snoozing in their beds.
Oh, poor things.
For eternity. Oops. Wait a minute, my replacement's coming in. I need replacements. Reinforcements. Reinforcements.
Where's General Vink?
Reinforcements.
Nice.
There it is. Reinforcements are coming in. I wish I had 1,000 beers like you.
Someday you will.
So now what? I'm sorry, I interrupted. Continue,
Well,
please.
no. This was just a little aside about.
And
that
what happened to them?
particular
Were they captured?
They were not captured.
They kind of just like,
Axman was captured, and he probably did 10 years or so in prison. But Bormann and Stumpfegger were later seen after a shell blast lying in the road. No bullets or wounds, apparently. They think that Bormann took cyanide when the Russians were coming to get him, instead of being captured.
It is amazing how the Germans opted to kill themselves instead of even be seen by a Russian. They kind of knew the consequences of being captured by the Russians. It was not a pretty sight.
The Russians weren't happy, and we had seen what had happened in, like, say, East Prussia, where that rusty buckle was dug up.
Yes.
Whole villages were slaughtered, where literally every girl between 8 and 80 was raped. It was a fun time. Hey.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I'm sorry. I don't know what you said, Steve. Okay. I was just reading a comment on the chat scroll.
Lovely, of
course. About today's show that we did earlier. Holy shit. What would you... I'm sorry. I hope I didn't
No, you didn't
say
throw
anything
me off
or
at all.
throw you
No.
off. Okay, so now you have a lot of memorabilia.
I have things
here
from the building they escaped from.
Yes.
The bunker was actually in the garden behind this building, the Chancellery.
Yes, right behind the building we're in front of today, broadcasting from.
Right, and again, this is on Voss Street in
Voss
Berlin.
Street?
Yes.
Interesting.
An extra S for a little more slobber. But my friend Henry...
Heinrich?
Heinrich.
Oh, Henry.
I don't call him Henry the Nazi, don't worry. I almost said that.
Oh, you almost slipped out with his last name,
Henry
the Nazi.
His grandfather was a German soldier who was put on body removal duty in the Chancellery because many Germans decided to kill themselves rather than surrender to the Russians.
Is that what they did in the Reich Chancellery? Do you have any idea of how many, approximately?
Hundreds.
Hundreds killed themselves in this building that we're in front of right now.
Yes, it was massive. It was a whole city block long and then turned the corner. Plus there were barracks. The SS barracks were right there.
And they all decided to kill themselves. Wow, think of the weaponry you could have gotten. The Lugers that were probably on these gentlemen.
All that stuff was found.
All that stuff found by the Russians.
Who went in first. I think that Hitler killed himself April 30th. I think
that's coming up. That date. Today's a different day, but the 30th is another day. Very close. Those dates.
It is very close. So he had.
Guess whose birthday falls right in between?
I don't know whose that could be.
Your pal Anthony.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you.
April 26th. Coincidence?
I think not. Oh, yes.
Complete coincidence. It has nothing to do with anything.
But Henry, the German fellow, his grandfather was put on body removal detail and took a few items out of the Reich Chancellery.
What was his grandfather? What was his position?
He was just like a Gefreiter, like a corporal or something in the German Army.
Was in the German Army.
He was in the German Army,
and that's why they gave him that detail. Okay, I thought maybe they were just getting civilians and saying, "Hey, fucking clear out your building."
No, he was captured, and they had to get rid of the bodies because it was early May and it was starting to stink.
I bet.
You know, dead Nazis have a very bad aroma.
Oh my God! What's worse, a Chancellery full of dead Nazis?
Right.
Big A's breath. Go.
Oh, Big A's breath.
All right.
Yeah.
Just making sure. So now he was called in to remove the dead.
He was.
And as he was in there, he decided, since I'm removing some dead people, let me get some souvenir.
How about I pick up a few things for myself?
Let's grab some stuff.
Well, this is what the people did because many of their homes were destroyed, so they had nothing left. You know?
Yo, they lost their homes?
They lost, they shit, motherfucker.
They lost a lot of their homes.
So he said, hey, look, I'm in the Nazi kitchen here.
Yeah.
I'm in the kitchen of the Reich Chancellery. Let me, look, dish towels that are monogrammed and inscribed, embroidered.
You know something, years ago,
right?
To have the foresight to, now this is right after the war. I mean, this
was before the Germans even surrendered. Yeah.
Why would he have the foresight to go, I should grab this, it's probably going to be a part of history, and grab fucking dish towels?
Well, because it was, most people couldn't get into the Chancellery normally. And figured that it was something they were taking from the Russians. The Russians were fascinated by the stuff that the Germans had, and that was one of the things that made them so furious. When they first rolled into East Prussia and saw how the German peasants lived, they were furious.
Living large, motherfucker.
So much better than them.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of stories where the Russians thought that German toilets were actually potato washers because they had never seen indoor plumbing before.
When you get old and your bag
It is a similar
dips
thing.
down so low,
Right.
it almost seems like a potato
Takes a
washer.
couple of the eyes
when
off of it.
your balls are just dangling in the drink.
But once again, I digress.
Yes,
And
we always digress
And
here.
here are okay. Newsday Laura, please.
This is fantastic. Let me grab
Yes.
one of these.
Let
me grab one of these and unfurl this.
Go ahead.
This is now, what would this be used for? It's got some very interesting red embroidery on here.
That says spoon towel.
It says spoon
That
towel.
was specifically for drying the spoons in the chancellery.
For drying the spoon. So this would be in the kitchen.
That was probably for the state silverware, so you couldn't just wash it roughly. Everything had to be dried by hand to keep it from being spotty.
Right, and what is this up here?
That says Reichskanzlei 1. That means Reich Chancellery 1. That's that kitchen number.
That's that kitchen number
Right.
1. And this is a spoon towel.
A spoon drying towel.
Spoon drying towel.
But show the
from Nazis, from the Nazis.
Reichskanzlei.
How fucking cool is that?
But Anthony, there
Yes.
are two more.
Holy shit!
Oh,
you're kidding.
Well, I think you should show the blue one next, since it's a little contrast.
All right, that's good. I see it's a little stained.
It's a little
stained. They couldn't launder these before he took them out of the chancellery.
Quite a little while.
Where was the chancellery laundry?
That was on Wilhelmstrasse.
This is another one. Now, what does this say? This, of course, is in blue, and it's a different word there.
That says
Steve.
Gläsertuch. That's
I would think that's glass.
glass. That's exactly what it is. Towel for glasses.
Towel for glasses. So they would use this to dry the glasses in the Reich
How did you
Chancellery.
know that? That's exactly right.
That is fantastic. This, I must say also, this is put together very well. You would think
is.
that material from the 30s, 40s would be coming apart at the seams, and this is in very good shape.
Well, Ant, let me tell you a little something. They wanted to
smells
buy
good.
all the best of everything
Only
for
the
the
best.
Chancellery. Yes, because they saw that this was going to be a building of empire.
Those Nazis knew about thread count. I got to
certainly
tell
did,
you.
yes.
You know, you go into that Bed Bath & Beyond, you read about thread count, you're like, I don't know what
Nothing
the
like
fuck that
this.
means.
Nothing
And then you
like
look at a
this.
thread count on something from Nazi Germany,
Right.
and goddamn, I wish they sold Nazi sheets at Bed Bath & Beyond, because they would be... they'd really be held together nicely. Why don't you show this?
Yes, and
the
try to get-
glass drying towel. This is all authentic, even though, you know, we are having fun here. Fun. This is all authentic.
It is.
German World War II from the Reich, the Reichstag, memorabilia. That is a glass drying towel. And here's another one.
That's the last of those.
This is the
three.
last of the drying towels, also in red.
It's another red one.
This one, again, a whole nother word on here, Steve.
Messertuch. That's
Messertuch.
knife towel.
Knife towel.
Now, if only I could get a fork one and maybe
Yes.
one for a ladle.
You can,
Boy, what a set I'd have.
Was there a spork towel? Did they, the
Not at
Nazis
that time.
invent the spork? I would assume
yes,
they probably did.
they did.
I would
I
assume
would
they did.
say.
It's that spoon with the prongs on it that never really hold on to anything.
But Ant, you missed something.
Yeah, what did I miss?
Well, look at each one has a loop built right in.
Holy
you could,
shit.
So you can hang it to dry. You see that?
They were hanging other things to dry.
They certainly were.
If my history is right. But yes, it does. They have little loops for drying. Those clever Nazis.
What clever crowd.
And this is for knives.
Yes.
Okay. If you
for
please-
like butter knives, not for
not for
daggers.
steak knives or anything,
No.
or else that would probably be a mess.
It's not for anything stabby.
There it is. Wow. Look at that. It's another dish towel from the Reichstag, the building. If you look,
The Reich Chancellery.
the Reich Chancellery,
the
excuse me,
Reichstag
excuse
was
me.
A couple of blocks away.
Was it? Wait, what
Still
condition
is.
is that in?
That's beautiful.
Is it?
However,
However.
I have a small.
always a however.
I have a small little issue with that.
The Reich Chancellery. Okay.
It was really damaged during the war.
What happened? Vandals?
Must have been a lot of blast to it.
Few of those. Yo, it was the gang, the B-17s.
But it's been all repaired. But when you go inside now, you can visit it, and that is now the German seat of parliament. Very interesting. They had some guy, Sir Norman Foster, build a new dome on it, and you could see right down.
Wow.
See a whole cityscape. Beautiful. It's supposed to show the transparency of German government today. Nothing secret.
Oh, is that what the...
That's what it's supposed to be, but it's a bucket of shit. However, something that annoys me about the building, I'm glad to see it repaired, but all the Soviet soldiers' graffiti is still all over the walls inside of it.
Now, why would they do that?
I don't know, because they think that they would insult the Russians, who still claim that they liberated Berlin from the Germans.
Yes, yes.
Which is sort of a strange idea.
Yeah,
You were conquered.
Yes.
Wash the walls.
Defeated.
Yeah. That was a very bad one.
Get a coat of paint on there.
Enough time's
Get some
gone by.
pergament and a roller. A few friends.
You go back to 1979, go to Pergament.
When Pergament's still
That'd
around.
be perfect.
Well, I'm using the historical
Get some brushes from
context.
TSS,
Go to Martin's
maybe?
Paints.
Right, perfect. Fantastic.
And paint that up. But wow, that's those are the actual towels.
Those are some towels.
Now I'm looking here at an autograph.
Oh, there is an autograph too. It's
This is fascinating because you don't get many autograph pictures from the era.
You don't.
And Steve, if you would explain this one.
Well, there's two people in the photo. Now
I recognize one.
I certainly wish both had autographed it, but this was only autographed about 1999 or so.
All right. Well, one of them couldn't be around.
So one of them, part of his head was in a drawer in Moscow, and the other guy was living in Bavaria.
Yeah.
However, it's a lovely photograph of SS Hauptsturmführer Otto Gunsche.
Otto Gunsche.
Right, with his beloved Führer.
With the Führer, who would be Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler.
Hitler.
And it shows Gunsche was an adjutant of Hitler, and he was the one who threw the torch on the bodies after they'd been doused with petrol in the garden of the Chancellery.
Really?
He's the man who burned the bodies. And here's a nice little autograph picture.
Wow.
If you would...
Now, how is it... Give us a little story of how this was autographed.
Well, my friend Henry happens to know a few
Heinrich.
people over there.
Henry, why don't you hold that up to the
Go ahead, Newsday
camera.
Laura.
Newsday Laura could hold that up to the camera. Use the monitor to get the best view. There you go.
And just hold it up a little so they can see the signature.
There he is.
See, Nazis even use Sharpies in
I'm actually going to do something Jimmy Norton would love me for. I'm going to blank out the title for a second.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because there it goes. No, hold it up again.
Okay, sorry.
You're
See,
in
because
trouble.
Jimmy Norton gets mad at Fox News and everybody because they put that title on the bottom, and you miss out on seeing everything.
We should really come up with some offensive scrolls for future
Oh,
shows.
please, I could in a second.
Yes.
I think our background's offensive enough, quite frankly.
That's
But
artwork.
It's a beautiful piece of architecture. See, that's the autograph right down there, and the man on your right would be Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
Whose 120th birthday would be today.
Well, I try to be a little historically accurate with him, and I try to call him Adolf.
Adolf.
He preferred
Oh,
Adolf.
people say Adolf, or
Adolf is
Adolf.
American.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Jawohl.
You say
I
tomato.
wish they had turned the whole thing off. God damn it.
All right.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler
Okay, that's enough of that.
is on the
picture,
right,
folks.
and then there we go.
Old
Toots.
Otto.
All right, let's
Laura's
put
a
the
good girl.
obnoxious title back on so people actually know what we're doing here. There we go.
Okay, and also from the Reich Chancellery, we have this. Well, it's a lovely piece of brocade.
That is really something. The condition that this is in
Yes.
is pristine. It's stunning.
Ooh. Well, I'm away from the microphone again.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
but
We could
it
hear you. Just
falls.
yell.
Hey!
It does fall a little. We need Mars to come in here
Yeah.
and fix it.
Well, this here is a tablecloth
Yeah.
from the former Reich Chancellery behind us.
This is a tiny, intimate little table.
It was. There were many little specialty tables here and there. Somewhere there's like a little ring where you could see somebody left a saucer or a coffee cup.
Oh,
Right here.
That bastard!
Oh.
Put him in a camp. He left
Allegedly.
He left a ring on the tablecloth.
have been from-
Kill him!
From Hitler's vegetarian soup
Oh
or
wow! Look
something.
at that. Yes, there is a little ring, which appears to be maybe the bottom of a bowl of sorts.
Wow.
That was on there. But again, the condition that Oh, that smells good. That this is in. The stitching is all still there.
It is.
No fraying. It is amazing the shape this is in, since it is from the 40s.
This is from, I'd say, 1938.
38, the 30s.
This
That's when I was merely a child.
a friend of mine acquired this from the estate of Gertie Troost. I'm sure you've heard of her.
Old Gertie.
Well, let me tell you a little about Gertie. Gertie was the wife of Professor Paul Troost, who was Hitler's #1 architect for a long time until he died suddenly, leaving old Albert Speer to take over.
Yes.
However, his wife was very talented as far as decorating goes. You know,
Like
sort of
Keith the Cop's wife,
like
Angela,
That's exactly
who
right.
designed my house. So I see a parallel there.
I understand that. And this was something that she showed Dolph many fabrics and things, and they picked them all for the
Now,
various chairs.
Did Adolf actually perhaps pick what he liked and
Definitely, yeah.
he was a hands-on guy, let's say.
He definitely picked this material. Whether he touched this particular thing, I have no idea.
I understand, but this is his taste.
Yes.
This is what his taste in material is.
This was one of them.
One of the tastes and things that he had, and something he liked, which we don't really get to see a lot. We know about what he didn't like a lot, but this is one of the things he enjoyed.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I sometimes, I
Like
get so
meat.
caught up in
He's
history.
a vegetarian. That's what I was
Didn't
talking about.
meat.
No, he didn't.
No,
He was a
wasn't a fan.
vegetarian, which is odd because we had Bernie Getz, the subway gunman. You might remember the subway vigilante in New York from years ago. And he has preached for years that vegetarians are much less aggressive and much less prone to commit violent acts than meat eaters. And I guess that isn't 100% because, well, you know the story. But they do pick out lovely materials.
He could pick out a piece of material.
That is a beautiful little tablecloth.
Would you just look at this? Look at this pattern.
Look
this
at the
border?
stitching.
It's wonderful. Here, please, Newsday Laura, why don't you show this to the people
Show
at
some
home?
of the details of that to the audience watching now. Some of that stitching is just wonderful. The gold, it's like a gold stitching and border, and some type of gold embroidery on the back is a completely different fabric.
Right.
This, again, a tablecloth from the Reich Chancellery.
That's correct.
Wonderful.
That's a fun little
Thank
item.
you.
And that was acquired directly from the state of Gertie Troost in 2004.
Gertie. That Gertie. What a gal.
Well,
What a gal.
It was time for her to go.
Oh, did someone coming out?
Horse?
I thought I saw the door open for a second. We'll wait, though. We'll wait. Maybe we'll have a guest. If someone comes out, they could get on mic and maybe
Heinrich Himmler, get over here, you.
talk with us here.
Where you been, kid? Heinrich Himmler, as you know, is buried in the Lüneburg Heath.
Yes.
Yes, most people.
Yes. Hey, people watching. I know I've had a problem with the recorded material as far as seeing it. Are you seeing the picture here? I have to wait for the delay to kick in. Hopefully.
Ray says yes.
Yes. Okay, good. You could see it. All right, shut up. I don't care if you say no, because I know you're just lying. I see enough yeses, so go fuck yourself. Okay, that's all. Stop with the yeses, okay? Don't you only have to see one or two yeses and not think you got to write yes again?
No.
All right.
No. They understand.
If you say no, sorry, you're a loser. The yeses outweigh the no's by leaps and bounds.
Hurtful.
So I'm terribly sorry. But let's continue now, because this is our a look back 420. We're here with Steve from Bayshore.
Hello. Yes.
Who is a very good friend of the show. He's contributed a lot, contributes every day. We read his comments, which are very funny on the air. And he's a collector of sorts of things from the era of World War II. And since it is 420, which, again, commemorates a lot of things. 420 is, for pot smokers, it's 420. They like smoking pot. 420 is also the Columbine anniversary, so I hear the families are there having a meeting and a little retrospective on that whole thing. And 420, also part of history. It is Adolf Hitler's birthday.
Certainly is.
So we are looking back with some of Steve From Bayshore's memorabilia at the era and some of the things that have been collected and some of the stories from people that Steve has met when his trips. He has been to Germany how many times?
5 times, I think.
About 5 times he's been to Germany. He's been to many places that had a lot to do with the war. He's gotten a lot of information, and he's shared his information with me and other people, and now with you, the audience.
We like to share.
Yes, sharing, and some more of his collectibles, some collections.
A couple of other little things here.
Items that he has that are quite fascinating if you're into
just so you know,
World War II.
this facade right behind us
Yes.
was here. Then further down the street, there was a little inset, and then this was repeated. However, where this one was now is still an empty field.
Really?
Nothing there. But if you see...
Why won't they build
If you
on
see the satellite photos, you can still see the outline of the building.
Oh, you can?
You can. Yeah. It's,
Why do you think they were so adamant about just destroying everything that was left that had to do with the Nazi Reich, when obviously they didn't want people emulating it, kind of worshiping it, but to destroy history like that is to try to put it out of your mind. And again, if you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it.
That's exactly right.
Why not just leave these buildings standing? Who was responsible for taking all these structures down and pretty much trying to just wipe over and forget that this ever happened?
Well, this area of Berlin is known as the Regierungsviertel, the government quarter.
Government quarter.
This happened to fall in the Russian zone. So the the communists ran this. What they did to the chancellery was take all the material from it and use it to build a couple of huge Soviet war memorials. That's where that little piece of granite that I gave you came from.
Yes, thank you.
That's from the cabinet room in the chancellery. That's now, that's in a few pieces here and there. But that's a huge Soviet war memorial in Berlin that I happened to be walking by one day when it was under repair. So I accidentally ended up with like a 12-pound piece of granite in my backpack.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, it was an accident. It slipped in as I turned.
Yeah.
And the German guard by the gate didn't see anything because I really pictured myself getting arrested by the Germans and was very nervous.
Probably not a good thing either.
Not a good thing. But
I used that little piece of granite that you gave me from there. I put it on my night table, and I use it as a little coaster.
Oh, that's special.
It's nice because it's not going to damage it. It's granite. You know, you wipe it right off.
Exactly
and it's a little coaster that I use in my bedroom.
And that is actual German granite, that red granite. Yes.
Apparently so. It's wunderbar.
Very nice. Just an interesting, bizarre little point is up in Sweden, there was a lot of granite being mined and cut for the building of the new German capital. However, it's still sitting there.
Guests are leaving. We're just waving goodbye.
Goodbye, guests.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
See you soon. Yeah, we have to get Herr Cumia off the air soon.
Well, I have another show to do at some point, but I napped long enough, so I'm fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
But now we're losing our presenter.
Yes, our presenter.
Things by the...
we'll get another presenter. That's okay.
You know,
take a cupcake before you leave.
Yes, please take one.
If you could only see the icing on these cupcakes.
They are very lovely.
Holy shit. I won't be showing that on camera.
Never.
Or even describing it. But cupcakes were made, and
a couple of them have pot leaves on them.
Yeah, for 420. Yeah.
Plus, Fred from Brooklyn was here earlier.
Wow.
Bye. Ray she could hold a little.
Of course. We don't have to worry about, we don't have to worry about that. We're fine.
We have Mike here.
More Mike, yeah. True. Sorry, Mike. Oof, Jesus. Wow, this probably isn't a show you want to be at. Take it easy, kids. Oof. Mike, wow. Well, how was Passover? Did you enjoy your Passover?
Very good.
Yeah, you had a good Passover?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Got together with family and everything?
Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah. Did you put some lamb blood on your door? Isn't that what you do? So the bad thing it passes over. It passes by you. Did you eat bitter herbs and matzah, unleavened bread?
Yep.
Yeah, fucking party.
Sounds delicious.
Fucking party, the Jews on Passover. It's amazing.
They're wild.
Cool. Well, back to what we were talking about.
Our last little,
this now.
Oh,
I must say,
what does
Steve.
that sound?
Steve, this just seems like a jar full of colorful rocks. Now, you normally wouldn't give this a second glance.
Who would care what that is?
You wouldn't.
It's a little jar of mosaic tiles.
Mosaic tiles.
That if you study the chancellery like certain people do, would know that the mosaic hall was filled with beautiful mosaics, all handmade. At the end of the war, why, the Russians just tore them apart. And somebody was there with a little scoop and jar and filled it up.
Filled it up with some of the mosaic pieces
and,
that we used in this grand artwork that was on the wall.
I'll have to show you a picture of that later, and it'll bring
I would love to see what this actually was part of.
Yeah.
What was the picture itself? That this it was just so huge.
It was the length, probably 120 feet long.
Wow.
Room, and there were eagles stylized with torches.
A couple of symbols.
No symbols.
What?
No symbols whatsoever.
Why? I didn't think I saw any red in here.
No, there was a lot of red, but I think those come from the eagles themselves.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
So these are actual little mosaic pieces that at some point in history, the artist went in there and took these and placed them individually and made this giant mosaic artwork on the wall.
It was a repeating motif that went down the whole length of this room.
It is labeled 1945.
Right.
And it says, what, Hitler?
Reichskanzlei. Yeah, Reich Chancellery.
My God, man.
And
it's amazing.
Somebody got that.
So if you want to maybe hold this up in front of the camera.
You could.
Yeah, put your, let's see the label.
Kind of boring to people.
See the label?
But you see those little...
And all those little mosaic... Well, people kind of want, we got it. People probably want to see little mosaic pieces from...
Right.
There you go.
Fantastic.
There it is.
And
that's good. I'd like to put one in my drink.
I think our last relic from the chancellery that I have with us... would be this nice, I would say it's an M40 German steel helmet.
This is amazing, this piece. Wow.
It's going to drop probably bits of steel on you.
That's okay. I'm holding it very gingerly. This, I must say, not in good condition.
It's not in the best shape.
This looks like
it was a museum piece.
Looks like it was on the Titanic.
Yeah.
It's very rusted. It's got some holes in it. Not bullet holes, just like rust holes. What is the story behind this, and why the poor condition? I've seen some German helmets in pristine condition.
Well, as I'm sure everyone knows, the soil around Berlin is very wet.
Yes.
Very marshy.
Yes.
And Speer would have had a real tough time building that giant triumphal arch because it would just give. However...
Nazi rust on me.
Yeah, Nazi rust.
Jesus, Nazi rust is all over me.
This helmet is from the Battle of Berlin. And was dug up right near the Chancellery in 1996.
What do you think? The guy threw it off and ran, or you think he bought it?
Probably bought it.
Yeah.
Because most people did leave with their uniforms, and the helmets were collected to be reused later.
Okay.
So there's no reason this should have just been buried alone.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there was some brain matter or something in it, and they decided to just leave it where it was.
Leave it be.
Leave it be.
Why don't we
have
our assistant hold this up?
But if you
be very ginger. Don't hold it over my beer. I don't need Nazi helmet brain rust in my beer. Look at the condition of this. It is just very caked with rust, and wow. That thing has been in the ground for a while. Do you know the story about how it was dug up? Was somebody digging a post hole? Was somebody looking for artifacts? So another guy with a metal detector? Oh, I got to tell you, I'm looking for coins on the beach.
It was something like that. Show the inside where you could see the remains of the leather liner.
There's leather liner, just
some leather left there from
rotted
the 30s.
out.
Yeah. What was happening was when Germany reunified, they were... starting to reuse areas that hadn't been used since 1945.
Ah.
And they were excavating a lot of places because they had to build new subway stations. They actually had to reconnect all the subways that had been cut off from each other when the Berlin Wall went up. You just couldn't get around. So
a lot of digging.
They did a lot of digging, and there was this one area between the Chancellery and the Reichstag that was just yielding a whole bunch of stuff.
And when was that unearthed?
96.
Oh, 96. So that had been there a while. Wow.
Right. It was there from 45 to 96. And this guy used to go there at night when it was raining because that was the only time the police weren't really there watching.
They didn't like the rain, police? What the hell?
Well, it was government land. You weren't supposed to go on it because they also were afraid that you'd find munitions, which happens
that could be a little
there.
dangerous. Yeah, if you find an unexploded piece of ordnance, you could be injured.
Every German town still has ordnance police.
Really?
Because they're constantly finding things, and people get blown up every year.
Unexploded bombs.
Unexploded things. Farmers find things, and
still taking out a few, are we?
No, these are like German mines and things like that.
I thought it was maybe one of our bombs that didn't explode or something.
That does happen sometimes too, because they, especially in Berlin, where the ground is so sandy, these bombs would go down sometimes, 20 or 30 feet and just not explode. They're just hitting sand.
You start excavating for a building and kablooey.
Let's rebuild the Kaiserhof.
Yeah.
Please hand me my arm. Very terrible. But, these sort of things happen.
Yeah,
so,
that's something. That's a big piece of history right there.
It is.
It's a rusted piece of history.
It's pretty worthless because people always want a pristine helmet.
Yeah, they want the good-looking stuff. They want something they can put on their head and dance around with. You can't put that on your head. You're going to look silly.
You're going
to get rust in your hair.
You're going to get, lockjaw or something.
Rusty head and tetanus.
Oh, the tetanus. Lockjaw.
Lockjaw.
I used the 1930s time. He's got lockjaw.
Paw Ingalls. What?
Holy crap. I'm tired. Leave me alone. I don't do this stuff. There's only a couple of other little things. We have a little Luftwaffe belt and a German labor service.
I like the labor service thing. Let me see that.
That's a nice one.
They couldn't do anything without shoving a swastika on it, could they? There's the labor service. It shows a spade shovel on here. We'll get to our assistant to show that up. Yes. Yes.
We have that.
We'll get the spade. The assistant to show spade shovel.
Now the spade should face up. Because
it should.
Things were looking up.
Looking up, was they? Show that buckle on there. See, it's a little spade shovel with the swastika on there.
Right. That's from the Reichsarbeitsdienst.
And is there text around that or just...
No, that's just little wheat heads or something.
There you go, little wheat heads. And
I don't think wheat head is the name for it, but you know what I mean.
Hey, wheat head.
But I think this is the one that's made... Let me just look at the maker's mark. One of them has a silly little... name on it.
Oh, really?
Well, one is made by Assman and Company.
Assman,
which is kind of
that's a silly name.
Kind of a cute name for a Nazi company. I think that was the one. But before you go anywhere, we also have this lovely, still with just about the original black finish.
Yes, only the highest points have been taken away. But it looks great like that.
That's a German Luftwaffe Air Force enlisted man's belt and buckle.
Oh.
That was given to me by a very nice O&A fan. Because I'm a fan of the era.
The era, of course.
So he sent that to me.
Here it is, a Luftwaffe belt. Let's show the buckle there. Here is another little collectible. If you get a little to see, it's the classic Eagle swastika.
Right.
Known so well through history as the symbol.
It's a lucky Hindu symbol or something, right?
Oh, is it? Yes, originally. But I believe it wasn't at that 45-degree angle.
No, probably not usually.
Originally, yeah. And I think also backwards with the ends pointing counterclockwise were also used in various cultures as symbols of good luck or what have you. And Adolf adopted it as his own, tipped it 45 degrees. I believe there was some symbolism in that, too, him tipping it.
It looked very neat that way.
It just looked better, I guess, yeah.
Pretty much, because originally it was, they used it straight, and then it's called the canted swastika.
The canted.
Canted a quarter turn, just dink.
Yes, and it made all the difference. It's like what do they call that? Swing way? Swing fei? Swing, with the, or... Feng shui. Yes,
like
it just...
Swing fei is better.
Swing fei.
Goddamn swing fei, baby. Hey, also, the gentleman was also kind enough to send me this adorable little, isn't this precious?
Look how little it is.
Oh, the little hiling arm this must have been on. It's a little Hitler Youth armband.
That is an armband that a little Hitler Youth kid would adorn. It's so little. It's almost like a swimmy.
It really is.
It's almost like little swimmies for kids.
I'd say it's a Pookie-sized armband.
It's so
just
tiny.
and tiny.
And small for a little Hitler youth-like arm to go through. Why don't we hold that up in front of the camera to try to offend as many people as is humanly possible?
Anyway.
I mean, to show the historic value in that. It actually, I wouldn't put that on. You'd probably tear it.
No.
Yeah.
The reason the guy gave these up was his uncle had brought these back from the war. I guess his father.
Uncle Adolf?
No.
His uncle.
American fella.
Yes.
And his wife was very disturbed about having these things in the house.
Yeah, most people would be there, Steve. I got to tell you.
Well, not me. Anyway, so he said, "I'll trade you if you can get me an autographed bumper sticker from O&A." I remember telling you the story, and at Riley's, you guys all autographed it. Jimmy drew a dick on it and said, "Fuck you." And I sent it to the guy. He was very happy and sent me
And he
stuff.
gave you that?
Yeah, for something you guys scribbled
I'd have
on.
gone over his house and fucking...
He was like in Michigan or
I just
something.
slept
Nobody wants to go
over
there.
for that. And you get it for fucking getting an autograph from us?
Well, I'm a fan of the era.
Christ. That's great. Hey, glad you got it, my friend.
Well, thanks, Ant.
That is a great piece of memorabilia. I see you have another one under there in laminate.
Oh, yes. Well, that's just to protect it. This is an unissued one.
That's, wow.
That's for the armed brown shirts.
Oh, the brown shirts with some tough son of a guns.
Right, they were. And that was labeled as a Stormtrooper Sports Association armband for years. And
Oh,
they
really?
finally figured out what it actually was.
Now, what was the sports? What the fuck is that?
Oh, they would just run around and jump and do things to stay in shape so that they could
like on
kill
those
people later.
Like on those old films, they'd show them in shorts throwing around those big medicine balls
that
and
kind of
doing
stuff.
jumping jacks.
Right.
Oh, okay. Hey, why don't we hold this up? Our lovely assistant.
You could take it out of the case
And
because it's sort of glary.
it's all right. It won't be that glary. It's a great camera.
Oh, it
See?
certainly
There
is.
you go. And
It's got the nice oak leaf with the broadsword.
I thought it was
up the
weedy
middle.
things, weedy heads or wheat heads.
No. That was for the labor service.
Oh, okay.
You see the
there it
wheat?
is. Yes, the wheat.
That's a little different.
That's wow. That's something with the sword going through the middle of it. Fascinating. I like this stuff. It's a bit of history.
Oh, Ant, you can get the stuff yourself.
In the making. Well, I have actually started a little collection. I don't have as many things. I don't have as many places to put them. But this is one of the first items I was given also by a fan. Very gracious of this.
Right.
It's a little damaged.
It can be. We can do something
Here and there. And I asked Steve, of course, Steve from Bayshore here, what this is, because I just see it as a World War II Nazi officer's cap or some sort.
This is actually it's actually a fairly early one because of the eagle. It's a short-spanned eagle. It's a German Luftwaffe, Air Force enlisted man's cap.
Oh, it is a Luftwaffe cap.
NCO cap, yeah. And the little band, you could get a replacement for that, but you don't really have.
No, I don't want to really replace. I want to keep it in its original
It's a nice,
condition.
It's actually in very good condition.
Yeah, what is this? Wool or
it's wool.
It's wool and it's in good condition. It's not fraying really.
And it actually has the name of the manufacturer, Karl Halfar, uniform and hat manufacturing, Berlin, Northwest 21. On Quitzowstrasse.
Maybe I could go there and he could fix it.
You could try.
You think he's there? You think if I just knock on his door and say, "Could you fix my hat?"
Hey, Carl, come and see out.
Could you fix my hat? It's Ted's Nazi hat fixing emporium. I'm not ripping Jimmy off, so
No,
shut up.
don't do that. They're
It's an
gonna yell.
homage to Jimmy. I love Jimmy. He's hysterical when he does his Ted bit. I'm just fucking around.
It's actually, except for a couple of little problems, there's not a lot of moth damage. It's in very decent shape.
I'm very happy with that piece, as they would say when you're a collector. A piece.
A piece. It's probably worth close to $400.
Wow. Holy shit!
So it's very nice.
I guess I shouldn't wear it around at work. Not
with some of the bosses. No,
not just so much for damage purposes, but let's hold this up
quite nice
in front of the camera.
Needs a little work here and there.
Let's show that. Yeah, it does. The front.
Anthony's cockade is falling off, as they call that.
My cockade.
I
have a cockade problem.
Your cockade is drooping a little.
That's horrible. I have to see a doctor.
And your chin strap is broken in half.
Yes,
perfect for Jim. But that small eagle up top, that's an old one.
There we go. Okay, you can put that back on the compressor.
I'd say that's
limiter or over there somewhere.
Yeah, that's a nice shape. A couple little things, but
yeah, there are.
You got to get that on display.
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, put that away. It's offensive.
Yes, of course. That's what we mean. Sorry. Again, let me stress the fact here. We are not celebrating anything here.
No way.
It is merely a demonstration based on an important day in history where we are showing memorabilia from an era in history, World War II. So we are taking this opportunity and using this webcast to show people collections of various war memorabilia of World War II on what amounts to Adolf Hitler's birthday, because it is a day in history. What are you going to do? I mean, people want to sweep things under the carpet. You really can't. You must remember, lest you repeat. That's what I say. I've said it 3 times already. I'm counting.
I agree with you.
Yes, on camera.
That's sort of, the bulk of what I brought.
I like the...
you like the little knapsack.
I like the knapsack. That is very... it's amazing because it's in such good shape. I thought when you brought this over at first that you would just pick this up somewhere and put your memorabilia inside.
Nope. Let me reclose it. Otherwise, it's going to fall open all over. The Germans are very good with their backpacks. And I was telling Anthony that this one was made in 1941. Everything is marked, and there's a name, Josef Altrager, on it, who I think he was an infantryman. But I found out by looking at the German war graves or war missing and dead site that he was killed in France.
Oh, you got a dead guy's backpack.
After D-Day. Well, I do. And by the way it's been readjusted to fit on a very small person, it must have been reissued probably to one of the little boy soldiers who fought at the end of the war.
Oh.
Boy, they used anything they had, those
yikes.
Those wonderful people.
I'd like to think that perhaps it was readjusted sometime in the 70s for a young kid just going to school.
Probably a Boy Scout or something like that.
Just some kid. It's a book bag. It's his little book bag.
But
now, I notice this is very Wookiee-like.
It is Wookiee-like.
I see a lot of fur on this.
It's covered in pony hide.
This is pony hide?
Yes, very water resistant.
How many? Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Because it's water resistant. Wow, they didn't have like Scotch Guard back then. They used pony hair.
No, but feel the canvas, how tough and tight that is.
Well, that's tight. Oh, I love that pony fur you got. And this is, again... the stitching and everything in one piece, you're still using this as a pack that holds things. It's not falling apart. You don't have to be delicate with it. It's not cracking.
Right. You can
again, amazing workmanship on the part of that German army.
Various pockets in here for a clean shirt, for your bread bag and your canteen.
Canteen and bread.
All these things are still
That's all you need,
intact.
Right?
Hey, where's she going?
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Okay,
I guess
goodbye.
we're losing our demonstration. Yes,
Anyway,
I understand.
it's not that
It is
interesting.
420.
There you go.
But that's very cool. I like that pony hair. I didn't know. I was going to ask you, why pony hair? I thought it was a decorative thing, but it's water resistant.
Yeah, it's pony leather.
A
wacky thing. So
is it true they used other materials later in the war for water resistance?
I think that's
I'm not saying a word.
Not true.
Not saying a word. It's not true.
That's not true. But I have no idea.
Yes.
Thank God I wasn't there. It was a terrible time.
Of course. It's just, you must remember this history and through its memorabilia. Remember the heroes of the war.
Right.
The Great War, as they called it. The big one. Whatever you want to call
WW2.
it. WWII. Yeah, the whole schmear. This is a great item right here.
Yes, it is.
This is a bayonet off of a... oops, let me get that. How about you do that before I stab myself?
Yeah, no
That There you go. That is a bayonet. A German bayonet. Still has some of the bluing on it.
It does. I think it's a K98 bayonet. Well, it fit on your gun.
It fits on the Mauser, and if we had our assistant here, where did they leave the Mauser?
I don't know.
I thought it was brought down here.
They ran out to celebrate.
Hold on.
I thought it was here.
Oh, it's right next to me.
Well, there you go.
There it is.
He's always armed.
I got my headphones back. Yes, always. Here it is. Oh, the German Mauser, stamped 1938. One of my prized part of my collection. This, well, look, doesn't even fit in the whole screen.
Likely to knock your beer over.
I got to watch that. Stamped with the eagle and swastika over here. Matching serial numbers.
Very nice.
And in very good condition. Not sure of the history of this thing.
Not loaded.
Not loaded, no. Not sure exactly where it was used or anything. I'm sure I could probably get a history on it through some of the numbers, but we'll see. But the fun thing is, we didn't know this. I have a Mauser. Mm-hmm. Steve brings over his bayonet. And look at this. They go together like chocolate and peanut butter. Look at that, huh?
That really set the tone for the party tonight.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
It's terrific.
Ah! There you go. Isn't that wonderful?
That's fantastic.
Little bayonet charge for you.
I
figured I'd give people a little
thrill.
Bayonet charge. There you go, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll put this back down here. Where it can't do
I
anyone any harm.
You need more lights in here, and it's
yeah, a little
only 93 degrees.
Believe me, it does get a little hot under these lights. People don't understand. See, all right, I'm going to expose this.
Okay, tell us, Ant.
We're not really in front of this building. We're not in Germany right now. Yeah.
I was going to go for some Spätzle.
Why are you guys right down the street? It's wonderful. See, it's a green screen, and you need a lot of light.
You do.
To make a green screen work well, and this works well. Come on, give me a fucking break.
It does work well, but all 6 of my chins are really getting sweaty and warm.
It really gets hot in here with all these lights on.
And now I'm folding Nazi dish towels in the heat.
Just dab your brow with it. Get a little sweat on it.
Not a problem most people have often.
You don't want to dab your brow with a Hitler Youth Nazi armband either.
You never know what might pop out of this thing at night.
No.
You know, how dare you?
But it does get a little warm under these lights.
Yeah.
All right, look, it's almost 12 o'clock. We've been on for a while. It was kind of an impromptu show. We were upstairs.
Whose idea was this?
It was actually Steve's idea.
Yes.
We were like, we should just pop on for a few, and
show
it's
some
like,
stuff.
Why not? He brought his memorabilia over, and I thought it would be kind of cool to share it with everybody. Okay, go fuck yourself. let me read some of these things now.
People bitching.
And this was boring. It was cool. Good show.
Okay.
I liked listening to Ant. Good show. I don't like this.
Good.
Yeah, good show. Mary, what? Now it's going for more guns. Nazis, yay. Good show.
So
fat.
Some people like it.
Thank you, Steve.
I shouldn't call you fat, Anthony.
I know.
You're looking very slim.
You know something? People say that all the time. I think we lost 20 pounds each in this fucking room. Show Steve. Show us your tits. Hair plugs. I have a rod. Sing Elvis. Fatty. Balls. Show your tits. Sergeant Schultz.
People are nice. I thought of the Schultz one before.
You're gay.
I wish I had a good helmet like that to pop on.
You're gay. I like that. It's just you're gay.
Just you're gay.
We're hanging here talking about shit and we're gay.
We're gay.
Oh my God.
We are kind of close, I suppose.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Polish your helmet. Okay. Queers. Food all right. Ant wants Steve's helmet.
Oh.
Hair plugs, Steve from Bayshore, Antiques Roadshow, Rusty helmet,
right.
Cunt, individual follicles,
I like it.
You're gay, cunt, Stab Steve, Who ate Opie, This is now. It's really going by fast.
Yeah, it's going too fast.
A lot of cunts.
And plus, look how tiny you have.
Frunkus.
It shows like 5 lines at a time.
I know.
All right. Well, it has been fun, though, Ant. Thank you for the...
It really has been. It's been a great time. You have a very fine collection there.
Thanks, Ant.
I was glad I was able to come down here and share it with the viewers.
It was lovely.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And I will be on the air tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on XM Sirius or Sirius XM, channel 202 on XM and channel 191. 197 on Sirius.
Right, that's
I have no fucking idea. I don't even know where I am.
He has to go to the help for answers.
Yeah, that's at 6 o'clock. I know we've had difficulties running the taped video on this channel, so it is a pain in the ass, and I do realize that, but I'm going to try to resolve that with Mogulus. But there, you got a live show, so if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. That's all I can tell you.
I agree.
Eat me. If you don't like it, then you don't fucking like this. This is what this is about. Just fucking coming down here, sitting in front of an old, fine building.
Beautiful.
And doing shows about whatever the fuck comes up on a goddamn day.
Right.
So that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to try to get the tape portion working. And let me see if I could actually shut this off. Steve, anything to say, please?
No, just get a lower chair next time.
Yeah, I know. I do need a lower fucking chair. That was a little much. Oh, there we go.
Perfectly fine. All right, well,
thing.
Have a fun, everybody.
Yes, have a good evening. Again, I will see you tomorrow. I'm stalling because I'm really trying to get to the page that shuts this off. Is that it? That's it. Here, now we go broadcast. We go network broadcast. We queue up stop all. And now all I got to do is press the little button, and the broadcast is done for the evening. So again, thanks for tuning in. I want to thank Steve from Bayshore.
Thanks for having me, Ant.
Who brought us collection on this 420 to enlighten people, again, about the history of World War II, Adolf Hitler, and, lest we never forget.
Or
believe me, when Steve's around, you can never forget. Cupcake Steve?
No, thanks. Not right now.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.